Hey, this is W here, talking about the simple review of Math 1. At least I hope it's simple for you. And if not, remember to email me, talk to me, ask me questions. But this video is showing you an example of each kind of problem you will have and a little bit more about deltamath. If you ever have a question, deltamath has this student help video for the problem you're on. You can click that and it will show you videos. It will also give you an example if you need to see an example on how to solve. So use those tools if you need help besides me. And if you really can't solve it, you can give up and it'll give you another problem. So according to your assignment, I am to have 3 correct. It does not matter how many times you take a problem. You could have 10 problems, but as long as you get 3 correct, you can stop. So if it takes me 10 tries to get 3 correct, that's okay. Your grade is going to be based upon your completion of the problems requested. So with that being said, let's solve this. So what is the value of the expression below when x equals 10 and y equals 4? Hopefully you remember that for the x you're going to plug in a 10. Anytime 2 numbers are together, that means multiply, so this gives you an 80. For y I have a 4, so multiply again. So 80 minus 28. And that gives us 52. So your answer is 52. You would hit submit. It asks, are you sure? And you click yes. So the next type of problem you have is write in simplest terms. So again, I need 3 correct. If it takes me 20 times to get 3 correct, whatever I do, I need to get 3 correct for 100%. So simplest terms. Now remember your basic algebra here. This is really, if you see a negative s, this is really a negative 1s. And this negative 5, this negative goes with the 5. So if you remember, you have to distribute that negative 5 to each element inside the parentheses. So I'm going to take negative 5 times 3s, and I get negative 15s. And I'm going to take my negative 5 times my negative 8, remember your signs, and that gives me a positive 56. So now I have a negative 15. Oh, that's a negative s. Sorry. Negative s, I can't read my writing. Negative 1s minus 15 s's plus 56. Then I look and I can combine like terms. A negative 1 minus a negative 15 gives me a negative 16s plus 56. So I would type in negative 16s plus 56 and submit my answer and go on to the next problem. So the next type of problem you have are combining like terms. I like combining like terms. I think they're fun. So we usually start with the highest exponent. So I'm going to look for items that have a exponent of 3 in this case. I take the sign in front of it and I'm going to box them in purple. So that's the only x3s I see, so I'm going to combine those two. I have a negative 5x cubed plus 1x cubed. That gives me a negative 4x cubed. So I'm done with those. So then I'm going to look for the next x. There are no more x's if I'm looking. But I can see I have another variable, and I have a negative 6y and a negative 2y. Combining those gives me a negative 8y, and those are done. And then in this particular problem, the only other thing I have are numbers. So I've got a 7 minus 1, which is 6, minus 7, which gives me a negative 1, so minus 1. So then I would type in my answer, a negative 4x cubed minus 8y minus 1, and submit my answer. Moving on, you would also have to solve equations. So now we're going to solve one-step equations. Again, I need 3 right. So hopefully you remember, to solve you need to get the variable by itself. To undo addition, you subtract what you do to one side, and by sides I mean opposite the equal sides. You do to the other. So you get x equals negative 2 and submit. Hopefully these are easier. So solve for s. This is just 2 steps. Okay, I've got a negative 10s here. and I've got a 10 on that same side, so I need to get rid of a positive 10. I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. So it gives me a negative 50 equals a negative 10s. Remember, this two things together here, that means multiply. So the opposite of multiply is divide. So I'm going to take the negative 10 and divide it on both sides. A negative 50 divided by a negative 10 gives me a positive 5. So my answer is 5, and I submit my answer. And then the last type are inequalities. So I'm going to get the variable on the same side. It doesn't matter what side you choose to do, but I like to have the variables for inequalities on the left side. So I'm going to minus 8z to both sides. Again, there's multiple ways to do this. So I get a negative 2z minus 7 greater than 2. I need to get that z by itself, so I have to add 7 to both sides. So I have a negative 2z is greater than 9. I need to get the z by itself, so I'm going to divide by a negative 2 both sides. Now remember, when you divide by a negative, that flips your inequality sign. So my greater than becomes less than, and I get a answer of 9 over negative 2. Now submitting that answer, you can just, on your keyboard when you're typing it, bring my negative out front, sorry. When you type in this, like here, you would have your z, and you can change the symbol here if you need to, and then you can actually type in a 9, negative 9, and then your backslash over 2, and that will give you your answer there. So hope any other questions you have, let me know. I am here to help. Thanks a lot.